A fragile truce between Israel and Hamas enters its final day. It's uncertain whether there will be another extension. Reports say Hamas is willing to extend the ceasefire by another 4 days and release more hostages for Palestinian prisoners. Qatar has been facilitating negotiations for what it calls a sustainable truce aimed at eventually ending this war. It hosted talks between the spy chiefs of Israel and the United States to, quote, build on the extended humanitarian pause. The current 6-day ceasefire is set to expire later today after the 6th and final hostage prison exchange is made. Details of this latest swap are still scarce, but a senior Hamas official says several Russian hostages will be released separately from the truce agreement later today. As it stands, more than 80 hostages and 180 Palestinian prisoners have been released. The latest swap saw 12 hostages, including 10 Israelis and 2 Thai nationals, handed over for some 30 Palestinian detainees. Israel says the ceasefire can continue, but it wants at least 10 Israeli hostages freed for every extra day. Despite the truce, a handful of shooting incidents by Israeli forces have been reported in Gaza. Our tensions in the West Bank have also risen. Reports suggest the Israeli army has destroyed some homes and roads as its raid on a refugee camp in Jenin continues. Medical officials say at least 6 people have been injured in the latest bout of violence, including 2 children. And for more, Sarah Coates joins us live from Tel Aviv. Sarah, Israel wants at least 10 hostages freed every day for any extra day of that truce to continue. Of course, Hamas has, in the days before, had problems saying it's rounding up enough hostages to release to Israel. Is this breakthrough in talks likely, given that Hamas likely is still facing the same challenge?
Hello there, Wei Su. Well, look, hostilities are set to resume at 7 a.m. local time tomorrow. That is in just 17 hours. With a Palestinian official telling Reuters that despite willingness on both sides to extend this truce, that no agreement has yet been reached. Now, the Israeli Prime Minister's office is refusing to comment on any of these talks, but it does say it has received a list of the 6th batch of hostages that could be released a little later tonight. Now, we do know that on that list there are 10 Israelis and 2 Russian citizens. It is unclear if they hold dual citizenship with Israel. Now, the Prime Minister's office also says that it's prepared and vetted a list of 50 Palestinian prisoners that could also be released, and a further 50 if this deal is extended. Now, one name that has been left off that list, this is according to family members, is that of the youngest captive. That is 10-month-old Kafir Babis. He is that little baby that Israel says has been handed over by Hamas to another Palestinian faction inside the Gaza Strip. Now, his older brother and also his parents are being held there as well, with relatives saying that they have absolutely no idea on their welfare or their whereabouts. So this is certainly very, very concerning for that family and, of course, all of the other families who haven't heard anything about their loved ones. Wei Su.
Sarah, of course, a big part of this ceasefire has also been aid into Gaza. The UN chief headed to Jordan for talks aimed at opening a second crossing for aid to enter Gaza apart from the Rafah crossing. What might we know about this route at this point?
You're certainly right. Well, look, Martin Griffiths, he is in Amman right now. He's pushing to have the Kerem Shalom crossing opened. It is a tri-border crossing down near the Rafah border crossing. And the difference here between the Rafah and the Kerem Shalom is that the Rafah crossing was originally designed as a pedestrian crossing. This means that it's taking a very long time for these aid trucks to cross through simply from the way it was designed. Now, if this Kerem Shalom crossing is opened, if Griffiths convinces authorities to do this, it would mean that these aid trucks can get in at a greater volume and be able to supply these people down in the Gaza Strip with the aid that they so desperately need. We've been hearing time and time again from these aid groups, also from the United Nations, saying that Gaza could be on the brink of starvation, saying that more people could die from disease than airstrikes. So, look, the situation is extremely dire. We've all seen these horrendous pictures of families rushing at water trucks, rushing at aid trucks, simply trying to grab whatever they can. And look, as winter sets in, then it's also the weather that is affecting these people. There are 1.7 million people that have been internally displaced in the Gaza Strip, many of them sheltering down in the south. And these are UN aid shelters, schools have been completely overwhelmed. So many of these people are simply sheltering in flimsy makeshift tents. Wei Su.
Thanks for Sarah Courts reporting live there from Tel Aviv.